screen. An active mind is a strong mind.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Professor DiMaggio's Gaming. This is the second part of the Climb to Master guide, and I'm going to be covering the 7 do's with Rashid that will help you climb if you're not ready to master and beyond master with the MR rank. Okay, for your first do with Rashid, one thing that you want to do a lot to the extent that you can is abuse the hell out of your level 2. There's really no disadvantage here when it comes to that. Me personally, I like to use his level 3 a lot because you can tack it on with a combo for really big damage. But I like to vary between using his level 2 and his level 3. So a lot of times, I just prefer to use the level 2 raw. Now, characters have ways to get around it. Each character has unique ways that they can use bar or super to try and get through it. So obviously you need to be aware of that character by character. But if you're talking about the level 2 in general, this is really an extraordinary tool in the game. You have enough time when you set this thing up that you can throw the opponent twice, assuming they don't throw tech, and still have time to kick it at them and do stuff like this. You can do enhanced moves. And you can get easily like more than 50% damage there. Now, it's not realistic to say you're going to hit each person with 2 throws and kick the tornado and hit them and do all that stuff. But the potential there is really big. And you can do all types of stuff off of this to vary it up. Like, I like to do the cartwheel because I'm protected by this. You can throw them, and then you can sort of kick it the other way, pressure them in different ways. You can do a slide, mix it up, right? You can do a slide and pressure them. You can sort of jump over and pressure them and sandwich them. And then they're going to get hit. And so there's a lot of ways to abuse this. You can do it with, as part of combo if you want, right? So sometimes, people might do it as part of a combo, let's say. You can do a lot of that stuff I'm talking about there too and still get some pretty decent damage, right? But there's really no downfall at all to abusing your level 2 because it's sort of like player 3 on the screen. Okay, so another thing you want to do regularly with Rashid, although it's kind of gimmicky, it's actually less gimmicky if you know how to mix it up between the different options, is side switching. Side switching is something where, opponents regularly struggle with this. They don't know what's going on, and as long as you're doing it in a way where it's meaty on their wake up, there's really a lot less damage, a lot less danger for you, and a lot more advantage to it because people don't know what you're going to do. So when I say varying up the side switching, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. One way you can do it is if you manage to hit them with a target combo, you can do the light cyclone after, as you see here. You can actually push back and kick after, and you'll side switch. And what you can do when you side switch is you can do all types of pokes. And as you can see, the training dummy is set on wake up light punch, right? So let's say, you do the target combo into the light cyclone. The light cyclone is meant to whiff because it sets up the side switch if you press back and kick. So when you switch sides, before they wake up, you should be able to hit them with all types of stuff if you mash the button fast enough. So you can press kick again as you're switching sides, and it'll stop you from moving. And you can land and you can throw. So that's meaty, right? And you're going to get a free throw there if they don't throw tech. Now, I think probably the best option on side switch for me, I've seen from playing thousands of matches with Rashid, is just to do the side switch, but instead of the throw, you can do a crouching medium kick, because not only are you switching sides, but then you're going from high to low. People see you above them, and then you're going low. So a lot of times people will block high, and you're usually going to hit them on the low. And you can do all types of stuff from below. So you can do a light mixer. You can try and throw after. You can try to do a drive rush after. This is the most common way that I do drive rush cancel. I don't like doing it raw, like from here. I just don't like doing it because it's kind of awkward when you're just sort of sitting here doing this, but it sets it up automatically if you do the side switch. You can go across, and you can go into it like that. You can even do it into like a super. If you do it off of a light eagle spike, right, you could do like a super off of it, or at the very least you're going to get some corner carry. In the other direction, sure, but the corner carry is so good off of the medium eagle spike that it's still going to be really good. Right, that's really good corner carry there. And you've got other options too, as you just saw a second ago with the medium kick. You can try and do that too. And that's another meaty. It doesn't really combo into anything. If you do it fast enough, that's a meaty as well. So you've got, a lot of different options there between the medium kick, the throw, but I think the best one is probably the crouching medium kick because you can combo out of it. And also the crouching medium punch, I believe, works as well. So let's see. Yeah, you can do the crouching medium after into a standing light punch, and because this is plus the light punch after, if you drive rush cancel, you can do stuff off of that too. So as you see there, you get a decent corner carry there too. So that's actually a really good option if you've got the bar to spend. But there's really no disadvantage outside of losing some corner carry if you're, let's say, going left to right here, of doing the side switch. But because it's such a good tool to confuse, it's just really good. And so that's like the most basic side switch, the one I just showed. But there are other ones too. So you can actually do the target combo into a whiff of the light cyclone into the heavy sky high. And that's another kind of side switch where it looks like that. Then after you can, you side switch a couple times there, right? So you go to one side and then you go to the other. And when you go to the other side, it actually sets you up for a meaty where you can either drive rush into a crouching light kick. If you time it right, it's not that hard. It's not quite auto time, but it's really close. You can do a drive rush into like a hard punch or crouching light kick into a combo, or you can do the forward hard punch overhead, and that's meaty. Then you can throw after that too if you get it fast enough. So let's say you do this, right? And you do the overhead there, right? That's a meaty hit, and you can try to throw after that too. You go into the meaty, you can go to a throw. That's also meaty there. That's not a bad tool, right? Like if you're mixing up that side switch with the heavy sky high into the overhead, into the throw, and you're mixing that up with the one I was just showing you where you cross sides, it's not bad. And also you can do a target combo into a medium cyclone whiff. Then you can do a light Arabian sky high at the end. And that also hits them from the other side. So that's another type of switch up that's even, or a side switch that's even more confusing if you're varying all of these. So, it would look like something like that, right? And you can still do the overhead, but from the other side. So you can be going from one side to the other side with the overhead. If you vary between the light cyclone and the medium cyclone as you're setting it up. And there's even another really good side switch that I like to use quite a bit in my combos as well, in my setups, my meaty setups, where if you're able to hit them with the target combo and you do an EX cyclone after, you can do a cartwheel and it switches sides. And that's yet another way of confusing people. So, let's say you do this, right? You can switch sides, right? It doesn't really work with the overhead, as you can see there, but you can drive rush overhead and it actually works as a meaty. See? You can do a whole combo after that. Yeah, so it's not a bad tool. And also, if you don't want to spend the bar for the drive rush overhead after, you can just do a light cyclone, and that will also be meaty and put you into a combo as well. So you can do, see, you got a combo set up there where you go in the other direction too with that side switch. And there's also a third way that you can do this. It's actually meaty too. Let's say that you hit them with the target combo into the EX cyclone and you do the side switch cartwheel. You can do a neutral jump, and if they don't back rise, it will hit the neutral jump into a hard kick. It'll hit them as a meaty. You can go into that, do neutral jump, hard kick, right? And that'll set up a combo for you too. Now, maybe the person, knows how to play the game, and they do a back rise. Well, this side switch accounts for that too. So you could do a full combo off of that by, doing the side switch into the jump kick, into whatever you want to do, and that's going to be incredibly damaging too. So you've really got like a lot of different paths there for side switch. You've got the first three that I showed you related to, and you can vary those too, right? Like let's say you just want to be really simple and just do the first one I showed you, right? And you want to vary it between like the medium kick and the throw and the crouching medium and the crouching medium punch and the crouching medium kick. The side switch is a really good tool. These are just some of the side switches in the game, the ones I was showing you here, but incredibly powerful for Rashid. And if you can like get this stuff down to muscle memory, like this is where training room comes in and drills. You just need to commit this to muscle memory. That whole process right there, right? As a throw, as a crouching medium kick, as a crouching medium punch. You just have to commit it to memory in the combo after, because it's one of the most deadly things that he can do as you're climbing rank. Another thing that's really useful with Rashid is knowing what his safe jumps are. You're going to run into players who love to do an OD, dragon punch on wake up, or if you're playing a Guile and he just wants to do flash kicks all the time, or OD flash kicks. You do need to know how to do safe jumps with Rashid. Now, some of the frustrating part of playing this character is that some of these safe jumps are just a safe jump. They don't actually have a safe jump where you can effectively hit somebody with the kick. So, like, for example, if I turn off wake up moves and I do a rolling nail, so if I do the target combo into a hard cyclone into the rolling nail, it looks like something like that, right? You do the move, you jump, and the kick doesn't land. That's for the heavy version and for the light and medium version. But it is effective as a safe jump. So let's say you want to bait somebody who you know is like a wake-up artist and they like doing OD moves constantly. You can do this and set your clock to it. Jump, do a fake kick, and just light them up after, right? Also, another version of this. In the corner, if you do a drive impact, this works pretty well against a lot of Guiles. Is you can do it, drive impact into a target combo into a hard eagle spike. Then you can dash back once and jump forward. Again, it is just a safe jump, not a safe jump with a kick. But, the thing is about safe jumps and people who are sort of wake-up artists, you can't do the same safe jump over and over. Like, they're going to know once you do it the first or second time that they just need to block or not do anything. So it's actually not very useful after the first or second time. So you need to know different safe jumps for somebody who likes to play like that for different situations. So if you do a drive impact, right, you do the target combo into the hard eagle spike, right? Someone might want to do an OD fireball or an OD Shoryuken after that, or whatever, OD DP. So you'll do the dash back and then jump forward, and you can bait that kind of stuff. You can go dash back, jump, block, right? And you can light them up again for damage. So that's another decent corner safe jump. Rashid has others too. Probably his most effective one can be used in the corner or mid-screen. If let's say you're going to jump in or you're going to drive rush or whatever, and you're going to do the target combo, you jump forward after the target combo, and this one actually allows you to do the jumping heavy kick and block. So this is really, as far as I'm concerned, your best safe jump here for people who are wake-up artists if you can land this. So yeah, you jump at them, you kick, and you hold block. You can do both. And then you can just, punish somebody. So whether, if you hit it, jump forward, kick, and, just light them up. And even if you turn it off, like, you can see that this is a legit safe jump because, you've got the ability to actually hit them with this. See? So it's a real safe jump. What about the other safe jump? This is the one that people love to do in the corner. It's probably his most devastating safe jump. Pros do it regularly. To be honest with you, this is something that is really difficult for new players because you have to get the timing just right in order to hit the safe jump in the corner off of the target combo into the light mixer juggle, into the forward medium punch, into the light cyclone, into holding back and kick and shooting yourself forward, and then timing the overhead kick. So, by the way, I do this regularly in matches. So it is strong, but it's not something I recommend for people who are just starting to play Rashid or at the middle levels. This is really more advanced stuff where you can do, the target combo. You can do it into the juggle, right? Into the light mixer. And after the light mixer, you can do the forward medium punch. So, right? And you'll cancel that medium punch. So you'll cancel that medium punch into a light cyclone. And it looks like that, right? And then after that light cyclone, you'll hit back and kick, and it launches you forward, right? People already know that. That launches you forward, right? And you can do hits. So you can do a safe jump for a hard kick after that if you time it just right. So, it's... See, that was the safe jump, right? I did the kick, but I also held back. So if they don't do the wake-up TP, the OD Dragon Punch, right, you hit them with the hard kick. And if they do it, you can still hold back with the kick and punish them and light them up after. So let's say you turn off the OD move, and they're just going to, block low or something. They're going to get hit with the overhead then. So, for example, that would be like, some of your biggest damage there. If you had a level 3 stored up or a level 1 after, this is like massive damage. So you can see like the value of that safe jump in the corner, but this is not something I think that you need to even get to master. This is like when you've gotten to master. You want to play sort of these mind games with somebody in the corner with the light mixer juggle after the target combo. And you can do stuff like that. Now, there's other ways to do that safe jump in other scenarios, but that's just sort of one of the most basic ones. There's other ones I've shown in my videos too. But this is probably the simplest one to learn after the target combo in the corner. Okay, so another thing you really want to do with Rashid, and this is something you want to do as soon as possible. This is not something that you want to try and wait to figure out when you're an advanced master player or trying to climb MR. You want to learn how to abuse the hell out of his overhead heavy punch. Now, that sounds easier said than done. Because like this thing is slow as hell, right? Like if you're trying to set up on this, if you're just like trying to do it to somebody here, this is not really going to work. You're just going to push a button and shut you down. Even if you try to do it with a drive rush, sure, that's faster, but if people block that, they can see it coming a mile away. They can interrupt it with a jab really easy. So how do you sort of mask something like that where you could use it in a deadly effective way? Well, there are ways to do this with Rashid. And this is the kind of stuff that if you can get good at it, you would climb to master really easily because there's different scenarios where you can use that overhead to really mess with people. One of them is if you're in the corner and you can manually time this after a throw. This stuff gets pretty devastating because you throw them in the corner, and instead of just trying to do a throw loop, right? Like you could do a throw loop, and that's fine. Or you could do like a meaty DI or something, and that's fine too, but you want to mix up obviously your corner strategies and all the different things you're doing. You can obviously throw and drive rush into a forward heavy kick. You can throw, do a slide punch if you've conditioned people after maybe a throw loop, 2 throws, and they're probably going to be looking to throw tech after that second throw. You can, like I said, you can do the slide. You can throw into target combo and it's meaty. You can throw into crouching medium punch and it's meaty, as you can see there, and that's plus. That's really devastating. But aside from all that, if you can manually time it, it's really devastating if you do the forward heavy punch after throw. Right? So you can time that. And what's so good about that in the corner is that after they get hit with that overhead hard punch, you can throw them again. They don't throw tech. And so that's a huge amount of damage to be able to do. And if you do that overhead hard punch, if you time it well enough, and this is actually more of an advanced technique, I don't actually recommend people trying to climb ranks to do it, but if you time it fast enough and you hit on the first few frames after they're waking up, you can also combo it into jab, a couple jabs, and into other stuff. If you throw, so yeah, you had 3 hits. Right, you had the overhead, and then you had the 2 jabs. And why does that matter? Well, you can cancel one of the jabs and some more jabs and extra hits, or you can do a jab into, a light kick into a light eagle spike. So you can see there, you could do it into the medium mixer, and there's no actual cost to that, unless you wanted to do an OD mixer after it. So if you want to do an OD mixer after, right, that's 25% damage off of 2 bars, which is really damn good. And the throw, right? So, you're up to over 37% damage just off of a throw and an overhead there. And, if you just want to keep it simpler, right, just do that into the overhead into another throw. You've got 12%, that's 24, and the overhead on top of it, which is another 8. And you're up to 32% damage just from 2 throws, one of them meaty, and the overhead punch. So all of this is actually really good in terms of abusing that overhead in the corner. And of course, there are other ways that you should be abusing the overhead too. One of those is that if you can hit, a target combo into hard cyclone into the light sky high, the overhead hard punch is actually meaty after that, and you can combo into it without using any bar. So if you do this, and you do the overhead, you get into the punches, right? And whatever other stuff you want to do, that's a combo. That's a straight up combo. So, you can mash this here. You can do all types of stuff, like an actual combo with corner carry. So when I say you want to abuse the hell out of the overhead, whether it's in the corner into a throw or into an actual combo, or after, the target combo into hard cyclone, into light sky high, into the overhead, that's another really good place to abuse that. There are other ones as well. If you do a medium eagle spike combo, you can whiff and frame kill with a medium kick into an overhead punch, and if they don't back rise, you can also do a combo off of that overhead. Or if they're in the corner, they're not going to back rise. So let's just say we do it in the corner, right? So you got your hard punch into medium eagle spike, and then you're going to whiff that medium kick, right? And after you whiff that medium kick, you're going to do the overhead, and that's going to be meaty. And so if it's meaty, and if you're plus enough, you shouldn't need to do any sort of drive rush with that overhead to get more hits in. So, right, you whiff, hit. You see you got 3 hits there, right? You can do whatever you want after that. That's another way that you abuse that in the corner. Or if you do it sort of regularly and they don't back rise, it's not, it's not quite as good of an option. But it's still pretty good if they're not back rising, right? You got there, and your 2 hits. So you can do more after that, as I've been showing you. So it's another really good way to abuse this. There's another way, too, that you can do this if you're doing a target combo into hard cyclone and into back and heavy kick twice. You can also do the medium kick whiff into the overhead. And see a combos, right? So you still got the 2 jabs, and that works really well in the corner, too. Less well mid-screen, unless they don't back rise. So what you can see here is you got a lot of options with this overhead punch, and it's really just so good because it can set up all different types of combos. You just have to have the setups ready. And another really good one is if somebody tries to drive impact you. So let's say that somebody drive impacts you and you drive impact them back, or you hit them when they're pushing a button and you stun them through your drive impact. Another way that you can set up the overhead is as a meaty is you can do like a jumping heavy kick into standing heavy kick into medium mixer. So jumping heavy kick, medium mixer, drive rush overhead, right? And you can also do this with a forward medium punch, right? And then into the drive rush, you get a little bit more damage. So however you want to do it, do the drive impact, jump, kick, medium mixer, overhead, right? You can do all types of stuff after that. Whatever combo you really want to do. So these are some of the examples. But if you can sort of get these different options for the overhead heavy punch, it's going to be incredibly devastating, especially the ones that are meterless, right? The ones that I was showing here. Okay, so another do that I wanted to get into is corner game. So many things you can do with Rashid in the corner, but I think really central to all of them is the throw game. So, people complain a lot about throw loops in this game. I really don't think as long as you're mixing it up that it's really any sort of cheesiness or abusiveness to it, because you just want to mix up on your throw in the corner. So, if you're doing this all day long, you try to do like 3 or 4 of these. Yeah, I mean, that's really scrubby and obnoxious, and people aren't going to like that. I don't do that. It's just predictable and lame, and it makes the game lame and boring. And so, it might be a safe strategy when pros play each other in tournaments or something, but like when you're playing just regular Street Fighter, you want to climb to Master Rank or climb MR, you're at lower or middle MR ranks. There's a lot of things you can do off of throw, and if you mix it up, that keep people guessing. You can do the throw loop, obviously, where you do, a throw into another throw. You can maybe shimmy after, right? You run forward and walk back, and you can do all types of stuff there. So if you do, so we program the dummy on wake up to do light punch. Or maybe we want to program them to do like a throw. Normal throw. You get your throw. You can shimmy out of it, right? You can shimmy, and if you hit confirm with that hard heavy punch, you can do the medium eagle spike. Probably more safe, you just do the hard punch if you connect on it into the hard cyclone. You've got some interesting stuff there. You can roll into the heavy mixer, right? But so that's one thing you can do. You can do like a throw loop and a shimmy, or you want to mix it up. Obviously, you can do like a throw loop, the 2 throws into what? You can do it into a meaty drive impact, and the meaty drive impact you just have to like ever so slightly micro walk like that, and then you hit it. And you're probably going to hit them really close to meaty when they're waking up. So if you got a throw, you can do your throw loop, and just the tiniest little bit there. And you're going to hit a meaty, and you can do whatever kind of combo you want to do there. This is sort of like the unwritten secret right there of how I got to Master Rank. Just abusing the hell out of that, right? Whatever it is. Whatever it is you want to do after. But you do the throw. You could do the meaty drive impact after 1 throw, mix it up. Like, they don't know if it's going to be after the throw loop. You do 2 throws or after just 1 throw. Either way. You're doing the 2 throws, let's say, and you just slightly walk it forward, micro walk, and then you can do whatever, right? Now, I think that that's really devastating, unless they're obviously looking for a drive impact in the corner, which is why you can't abuse this when you get to Master Rank as much. Especially if you're trying to climb Master Rank past like 1500. If you're getting to like 1700 MR, people are going to be ready for it, and they're going to be looking for it. It's the first thing they're looking for in the corner. But if you're in gold, or platinum or diamond or low master. Like there's a lot of room to abuse throw loop into drive impact, or just do throw loop into shimmy, or do some of the other stuff that you can do off of throw loop. And if somebody tries to throw you, so like you do 2 throws, right? They're going to be looking for the 3rd throw if you run forward. And one thing that can be really effective if you add it into the mix is the slide punch. So you can, throw, and they're going to be looking for a throw here, and then you can mix it up, right? And you put them back into the corner, of course. You don't want to let them out of the corner. But you can do something like that where you do the target combo after the slide punch into an EX Cyclone, into a run slide punch again, into the level 1 super, and then you put them back in the corner. So that's a really good thing off of throw if you do it every now and then. Also really good off of throw is the crouching medium punch. You can do that into a light cyclone or medium cyclone if you want, into all types of other stuff. Like that. You can do it into a really big combo if you want. Something like this. So that's good. The crouching medium punch, because it's plus. One thing when you get into the higher ranks, past master, into like 15, 16, 1700 MR, you probably don't want to do this into the medium cyclone that much, because you will block that medium cyclone and then they'll punish you with like a quick button. So what you can do is you could just do this into like the jab and then drive rush after. If you hit confirm, you can drive rush after or do other simple stuff. So instead of doing that, you do stuff like that. And you hit confirm, right? Once you know you've hit on that and that. Or you can even just keep it simple, something like that. Crouching medium into light punch into mixer into like a throw attempt on meaty. So you've got a lot of options there. You can also do the drive rush, although it does cost you something. Something like this. Pretty simple stuff. With the juggle, it takes a little timing with the charge shot into the heavy mixer, but so you got those options too. Sometimes I'll do that. Basically, you've got a lot of options off of throw, and you want to vary those up. If you're in training room, this is the kind of stuff where you want to drill to the point where you can do this in your sleep. You're not going to miss that juggle, or you're unlikely to miss it, and you've got your timing down for like your crouching medium punch after throw. You've got your timing down for your throw loops. You've got your timing down for your meaty DI, right? Because if you don't push fast enough like that, it can throw you out of it. So you got to really be on point with the meaty DI, the throw loop, the crouching medium, the slide punch, and everything you're going to do. But basically, if you can sort of vary up your corner game off of throw, it's really sort of the core, I think, of being successful with this character. With Rashid is you want to make sure you have a firm grasp on what his best meaties are off of your opponent waking up, because if you really don't have a sense of that, it's going to be really difficult to sort of run any kind of coherent offense. So this is something you should just know, and you should drill this in training room too, so that you can do it without thinking too much. Rashid's got probably more than 100, 150 meaties that I'm aware of or have done. So you don't want to try and commit 150 meaties to memory unless, you've been playing the character for a couple years like I have, and they just sort of come up and you want to mix them up, keep people guessing infinitely. That's sort of the, part of the trick with Rashid. The more you play him is that he's sort of endless in terms of depth. But really, when you're sort of starting Rashid or climbing with him and getting to early master, low MR, you just want to know sort of like what are the most effective meaties for each different situation. So what does that actually mean, and what does that look like? If you're off of throw and you're not in the corner, you really don't have a lot of options outside of drive rush, forward, and hard kick. So, you can do this, right? And that's meaty, but it's not going to work if they back rise. So that's just something to understand with Rashid. If the player back rises, You put a recoverer backward in place, new throw. And I don't know why they didn't back rise. Let's see. Because we got him on block. No block. And let's make sure the wake up is off. If you throw them here, right, you're not going to hit them. But there's really sort of no way around that with Rashid. Like, you can try that once, and if the person likes to back rise, you're just not going to have any offense off of a meaty, off of throw. It's just too far away. But, depending on sort of the tool you're using, there's all types of other meaties that you just really want to know. For example, if you finish a combo with a light eagle spike, you can run into a throw on meaty. Even if they back rise. There it is. That's extremely effective and brutally effective at bringing somebody to the corner after that light eagle spike. Off of the medium eagle spike, it's a little different. You can do a cartwheel and do an overhead. And that actually works really well. It's not going to give you a combo, but it's going to give you pressure. So that's really good. And you can also go into a throw after that, and you can try for a throw meaty. You can do a light mixer into throw. Sometimes people will do like a whiff medium kick into overhead, right? That also works if they don't back rise. But yeah, those are some of your basics for medium eagle spike. You can do a dash into side switch. The throw. That's actually really popular too. Not quite as effective if you're looking to take them to the corner, but it's also an option. Even with back rise, they're still going to get hit, right? As you can see there. So that's actually really strong too. As I already talked about from the medium mixer, you want to do the drive rush overhead. Also from light eagle spike, drive rush overhead is really good. You can get a combo off of that. For heavy mixer, I'm not sure. If they back rise or even move at all, this isn't really a meaty anymore, so it's really not that reliable, the overhead. But you can run into a slide punch. It's a little risky, so you don't want to do that a lot. But if you can run into slide punch, it actually works really well off of a drive reversal or a heavy mixer. You do the run slide punch into like a level 1 or a level 3, so you can go. And that's going to catch them whether they back rise or not. Right, because we got it set on recover backward there, right? And they're going to get hit there. Assuming they don't block low. So that's why I said you want to be a little bit careful with that one. But, I'm not aware of a lot of really good meaties off of heavy mixer. Just sort of like in the middle of the screen because, maybe the run into slide punch is good if, for an anti-air. If they're jumping in, you want to try and do something like that after, but I wouldn't do it regularly after. So in terms of, other meaties, a lot of this stuff is going to be relevant in the corner. The hard mixer is a little bit different in the corner. After the heavy mixer in the corner, you can do all types of crazy cartwheels. Cartwheel into throw is meaty. Cartwheel into target combo, meaty. I believe it's also meaty off of crouching medium. Or you can just do like a crouching kick into crouching medium punch, and that's meaty. There's obviously a lot of stuff. Like you could even do a drive rush overhead, and that's meaty in the corner. So there's a lot of stuff you can do off of heavy mixer in the corner. But if you're in the mid screen, usually it's just the run punch. You might want to consider doing every now and then. Don't be too predictable with it, but a lot of times people will block high, and they're susceptible to those lows, obviously. So this is the kind of stuff where, like I was saying, you really want to know what your go-to meaties are if you want to actually be able to run an offense mid-screen and in the corner. And if you can just sort of get those down pat in the training room and know what to do when, it's going to help you dramatically in terms of a climb to master, just actually knowing how to do that stuff. Okay, one final thing you want to know, a final do for Rashid is knowing how to play some neutral footsies, even on your way up to master, this is good as part of your fundamentals, and abusing that heavy kick as a whiff punish. If you can sort of play, you know, the neutral back and forth, and you can try to sort of train yourself to, you know, either you're gonna like punish somebody on that if they push a button. If you can push it fast enough, right, to punish it, use the hard kick, you'll get a punish counter, and you can do all types of combos. Or sometimes if you're just throwing it out as a poke, you might get lucky and they're about to push a button. And because you've got such a good range on this, as you can see, right, you'll get a punish counter. And so let's say, you know, we've got Ken set to randomly poking around. He's throwing his hard punch, right? We can punish that, right? As you see there. And then you can do stuff. Like the most typical thing is the heavy mixer, right? You're getting like over 20% or around 20% damage on that. That's just free damage. Like, you don't ever want to say no to that. Unless you're going to do like it into a super or something. So, you know, you might want to do like a level 1. You get around a third damage there. Maybe even a level 3. I don't really like it as much as a level 2 because your options are fewer after you do the EX Mixer into EX Sky High for another hit. But yeah, that's like 50% damage off of the level 3. So this is just something that you want to be able to do when you're playing the game, to be able to abuse this button, you know, playing in the neutral, back and forth, footsies. Like sometimes you'll just get a poke and you'll get a couple hits. Other times a character will be a lot further away and they want to try and throw like a medium kick or some other button, and they're trying to whiff punish you, and you can just, you know, use this. You can hit it a couple times in a row, and you'll punish whatever it is they're trying to whiff punish you with. It's just an incredibly useful button. You don't want to like abuse it all the time because, you know, they could just punish it with a drive impact, and you're not going to cancel out of that with anything. So if you're abusing it constantly, that's not good, but it should be an important part of your game on your climb to master, and definitely by the time you get to master, you want to be able to know how to use this as a poke. And you want to be able to use it in combos, whether it's the simple one for, you know, the heavy mixer after, or supers or whatever you're going to do. All right, so I hope this video was useful, especially for people who are trying to climb to master rank. You have the hindsight now of somebody who's played 10 to 15,000 matches with Rashid in casual, in custom room, in ranked. And, you know, if I had known all of this stuff when I first started learning the character, the climb would have been a lot faster than really 4 months to get to master rank. Like, people could have done this way faster if you not only utilize these techniques, but actually go into training room and run drills for all this stuff. You will improve exponentially with this character once you get the muscle memory down. So hopefully this was helpful. If you liked it, leave a like for the video or subscribe if you're not already, and I can do more of these videos if people want. Leave some notes in the comments if you want me to do more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.